Good morning, welcome to this first breakout session. Today we'll talk about proactive maintenance in the industry thanks to sensor, 5G connectivity and smart data. First, let me present myself. I am Frédéric Braham. I am working for Proximus Next. I am responsible for a number of product management team, mainly working on data analytics, Internet of Things and business communication. Today in this presentation, we will show you that machine can talk. Machine can send us a number of signals about their health, which will enable us to prevent downtime in the production line. And as you will see in the presentation, it's all about data. It's about data collection, data analytics, data processing, applying on this data artificial intelligence, machine learnings to transform raw data into smart data, which will enable you to take quicker and better decisions. You will also see in this presentation the shift from what we call descriptive analytic to prescriptive analytic. What is it about? Descriptive analytic, it's quite simple. You collect data and you use this data to understand what is happening and why it happened. So it's mainly for reporting purpose, I will say. In the last year, we started to do what we call predictive analytics by using historical data and current data, and by applying on this data several models. Thanks to AI, thanks to machine learning, we are now able to predict what could happen in the next day, in the next hour, on a machine or in a specific environment. And today, we are even one step further. We are in the era of prescriptive analytics. So by applying more sophisticated algorithms, we are able not only to predict the future, but we are also to give you advice on what you should do on which machine at what moment. And this is exactly what we will show today in this presentation. We will show you how predictive analytics can be used for proactive maintenance in the industry. And for that, I welcome Pierre from the company iCare, which will explain you what they are doing with data in the manufacturing sector. Pierre, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Frédéric, for this nice introduction. Thanks also to Proximus for the invitation. I will start first with a small introduction about iCare, but really I would like to insist since the beginning that Proximus is really a strong partner, because you will see we are indeed focused on the data, and the only way for us today to bring the data back on the cloud is via the wireless signal. We are not using the Wi-Fi, we are using the 5G connection before the 4G, before the 3G. Now it's really important to have really a strong network. I will explain it really in detail. So iCare, for those who don't know, and I suppose there is just one or two here who doesn't know iCare, but for the other one, it will be just a small rehearsal. iCare is a Belgian company. We are based in Mons, so near the French border. We are today 900 people, and the company was founded 20 years ago. It was our 20th birthday in September. Sorry. It's really important. We have a growth of 35% each year. Why? Because mainly we are dedicated to predictive, prescriptive maintenance and reliability optimization. And just the market all the market studies say that it will be multiplied by 10 until 2030. So of course, there is a growth to catch, to not give any market share to the competition. We are one of the leaders in our domain, so in predictive and prescriptive maintenance. And really important topic is that half of our employees are shareholders. It's really important also for the philosophy of the company. And we will make an introduction on the public market in 25. So I stop talking about iCare. It's not the most important part today. Frédéric already said a few times that the data are really the most important part, and I really think that we all heard that the data are really important in the world of today, but it's not just in the world of today. It's not new, okay? I will just leave a few seconds for the newcomers. You are all more than welcome. So, Lord William Thomson Kelvin, the same as the one who created the scale, the temperature scale close to the energy. It was the goal so with the Kelvin temperature scale, said also in a book. So of course it's a smaller sentence because it was written in a few pages, but if I make it a bit shorter, is that if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So of course, what does that mean? It means that you need data. Okay, we see it in the even if your everyday job, data are really the most important part today to diagnose. To manage any company or even just the day-to-day. It's more or less the same, but today we are in the fourth industrial revolution, what we call Industry 4.0. Of course, if you have 4.0, it means that you have 1, 2, 3. And maybe you heard a lot, mainly for smart cities. We talk about smart cities 5.0 and so on. It's also the fifth industrial revolution which is coming. For me, it's more an evolution of the fourth, but I'm open to discussion about that. It's the famous think global, act local. You cannot choose the right action if you don't have a global vision of what you want to do. It's the same for the Industry 4.0. It's the same for the tool. I took one sensor here to prove you that it's real. I mean, it's existing. The wireless sensors here, it's called the WeCare. I'll explain it a bit later. But the WeCare exists now for more than 10 years. I made one of the first installations in Morocco with 150 sensors in the desert. So it already exists. It's just a tool. Okay, for me, Industry 4.0, it's a tool. And you need to have a complete solution, a complete strategy about your production, about the maintenance, and so on. It's exactly the same. You can buy the nicest smartwatch dedicated to health KPI, sport tracking, and so on. If you just don't do any sport, it will not help you. Okay, it will help you to track that you don't do anything. It's the same for the sensors, all the Industry 4.0 technologies and so on. If there is no strategy behind, it's not useful. But once you decide to make a strategy, to define it, really you need to have the best tool and open source, open to other solutions and so on. I will come back to it later. So I said the fourth, Industry 4.0, it means that the first one, just to be clear, but I think that everyone knows it, but just a small reminder. The first one is mechanization, steam industry and so on. The second one is mainly electrification. Okay, maybe often we forget that the biggest improvement thanks to electrification is the light, just the light, okay, for the whole day. It's really important. Then, thanks to electrification, we developed electronics, and mainly the main word is automation. Not only computer. Before computer, it was really the automation. And now we are at Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is not internet. It's deeper than that. It's mainly what we call digitalization, interconnectivity, IoT. It's just that someone decided. It's mainly a marketing word for me to call it Industry 4.0. But at the end, it's really important to have all the assets connected. It already exists for a long time, and it's probably the first industrial revolution which goes faster in your private life than on the professional life. Maybe not for Proximus, but for many industrial plants, just to tell them that the data will go on a cloud, they are already scared. It's really easy to tackle this point. Just ask to the people around the table to put their phone on the table, and you will see that no one has a Nokia 3310. I don't know if you say that exactly, but no one has a small phone without any connection. They are all connected to LinkedIn, to WhatsApp, and so on. They all have the connection, and everyone here in the room already made a wireless payment thanks to the phone. So if you trust the system, the wireless system, the connection, and then the 4.0 tool, and even the 5.0 for your private life, be sure that usually you can trust it for the professional life. Industry 5.0 is more focused on customization and also on human. So the goal is to have, the idea is more or less that Industry 4.0 is more the technology. Industry 5.0 is the technology, but bring back to the human. For me, it's more 4.1 than 5.0, but I leave it for the marketing people. What's the idea? The idea is to go to a standard plant, a bit probably old-fashioned. Of course, we are close to the caricature, indeed, but it's really important to understand that Thanks to the Industry 4.0, you don't have to go each step by step by step. You can go directly to the smart tool. As I said, in Morocco, I installed 10 years ago 150 sensors, and it was not a smart plant. Okay, there were not cable everywhere, sensors everywhere. It's really easy and possible just to bring the newest solution. It's possible to bring it directly there. You know, you just bring a solar panel, for example, just to have power supply for the main gateway, so the main industrial computer, just to have the data. And thanks to the 5G connection, for example, because we do the same in Belgium, you have an autonomous system. Okay, it exists. It really exists. Okay, it's not a future or I don't know. It's really important also to understand that we always speak about prescriptive maintenance, but it's not just maintenance. Okay, it's mainly what we call now risk management, because when you can handle the shutdown management, when you are able to predict that the plant will have a shutdown within 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, of course there is all the management behind, of course financial management, financial risk management, because a shutdown costs a lot. You have safety management, because of course if you have a shutdown, sometimes you have safety risk behind. If the asset explode, don't imagine a big explosion, but just a belt which explode or a pipe with too much pressure, you can be injured. You have quality risk if you have vibration. We made it for I see that Airbus is there, it was not for there, but a similar company. You had vibration on the system, so of course you had line on the aluminium. It's not acceptable, so you have someone to pay just to polish it manually. It's all this kind of solution and really practical information that you can tackle. It's possible today just to make the upgrade, and thanks to the upgrade, you don't just optimize the asset lifetime of your equipment. You can optimize the complete production plan. Okay, not plant, really the plan, the strategy, because you have data. Okay, we made it. I made it personally on a offshore platform where we didn't install any sensors. We just took all the data coming from the automation system. It was not a smart automation system, it was just an automation system where you can extract a CSV table with 300 columns and no machine learning, nothing in it. We just worked 4 to 5 days on this system just to use the data, not to install new sensors and so on, just to use the data. And we were able to optimize the asset lifetime, mainly to ensure the warranty, because it was their main concern. We were able to improve the warranty and also to have report. Every month they get report, just with easy KPIs, colors and so on. And after, if they want, they could ask for the support of an expert to go deeper in the detail, but it was even the oil quality of the transformer and stuff like that. You can go really deep. Okay? It was just data. I will give you really a real case studies for a sugar plant in Belgium, and it's a case study just 1 or 2 years old. It was from end of 21. I like the case studies because it's a sugar factory, so it's not pharmaceutics or nuclear, where we all understand that indeed it could happen in these companies because they have a kind of aura of a lot of money and so on. For a sugar plant, there is nothing confidential. Everyone knows how to make a sugar factory, or it's not so hard to find it. It's just the volume, but also the reliability of the plants which will make the profit. They were working with manual measurements, so it means offline measurements. So before the wireless system, we were just going with a kind of computer with cable sensors, not everywhere, but magnet sensors that you put on the machine, on the motor, on the pump, on the gearbox, on the fans. You put it everywhere, and then you have measurements coming back. And when you do this, you cannot send someone every day. It's every 3 months. Okay, so you need to be, I will say, a sniper, just to be sure that you see really early the defect to avoid the shutdown. They decided for some critical equipment and now on a bigger scale to move to the wireless sensors. You can also take it, and you can give it just to show it's not a prototype, it's an existing one. The pro is that you have a small plastic sheet for the battery, because really this morning I took it, not this morning, yesterday, because this morning it was too early, but I took it from the production line in Mons, so it's a real one. We are able to remote really daily or even each hours the system. So of course there is not an engineer behind looking to all the data. We decided to have algorithm. We have our own AI, which is able to analyze it. And then we have someone behind, so the AI doesn't take any decision by its own. We have someone who has to check and to be sure that it's real. Why? Because, for example, if someone is coming just knock with a hammer or something like that, you can have high vibration level. We will not stop a machine because someone is working near the machine. Okay, so someone still has to analyze. I will not go too deep in the detail, of course, because I'm not sure there is a lot of vibration expert, but that's also the goal, to show that even without being an expert, if you see this trend, I think you can understand quite easily that it's not normal. To give you an idea, this is the normal pattern of the equipment running well. Okay, what you can see here, it's the level of vibration. You can see millimeter per second. It's the unity for the vibration, and you can see a big increase. It's really important to understand that already before we were higher than the standard. We already tell to the customer there is an issue on the equipment, and we were able to say where. Okay, not exactly which part, but where on the equipment. When you have a big equipment, you need to know where you have to look or which part you have to work on. It's really important. Okay. We were able to tell to the customer there is an issue on your equipment, and once you see this pattern, you can say it will not go in the right direction. Okay, I never see any assets repairing by itself. Okay, it doesn't happen. They said, okay, could we continue to work on this equipment? Based on the knowledge and the experience, we said, yes, you can, but not for a long term, probably a few weeks. So they were able to order the white part, because when you see it, you know that it's a looseness. You cannot see it from this graph, of course, but I will not show you all the details because I would need one day. But we were able to say which part, so they order the new part. They can organize the spare parts order, but also the repair, the team, really the technicians to change the equipment, but also to plan another equipment. It was a vacuum pump, another equipment, because during the repair, the production didn't stop because they had another one in parallel. It was not possible without knowing that, okay, in an emergency. And during this period, they made the repair. So they just forgot to take the sensor off the machine. So we also recorded the vibration due to the repair, but it's not a big deal. What you can see here, I will not go into detail neither because it's really due to vibration analysis, but this is a pattern due to a looseness. What you can see is that in September, it's almost flat. In October, it's not flat at all. If you were coming with the offline system every 3 months, maybe if you are not lucky, we would come beginning of September, and then 3 months after, it's too late because the machine would have a breakdown. It's a specific one, okay? It's a looseness of a specific part on the shaft due to corrosion, but it could still happen. Thanks to the continuous system, even if no one is looking at it, of course you have alert, alarm, and the system is preventing that there is an issue. A good thing of this is that we were able to go to the end to make the full follow-up. And that's the goal when I talk about the tool and the full strategy. It's really important for us to not just say there is a problem on the equipment. It's to know it, to say before there is a problem, but also mainly after, and to make the complete job, to make root cause failure analysis, to find why is there an issue, when it's specific. For example, this one is really specific. Normally on an equipment, you don't have corrosion like that. Okay, it's really deep. It was mainly due to an O-ring, so a big one of this kind of equipment, but which were not they were at one place and whole, which is not normal. And due to that, you had humidity and water coming inside the vacuum pump, which is not normal neither, because you could have vacuum, you could have cavitation. So, thanks to that, the great thing is that we also have the ROI, because it's really a close customer and we made the job until the end. The amount invested not only on the sensors, because it's a long-term investment. Why do I say that? Because we are not selling the sensors anymore. It's again the same as Spotify or YouTube or Netflix. I think if I ask it, who bought a DVD or a CD in the last 2 years? It's a real question. Not a lot of people, and I'm sure you are still listening to music and you are still looking at film because you pay a monthly fee. It's the same for the sensors. We are not selling the sensors anymore. It's in the complete solution. But what is sure is that they saved more or less 150,000 of euro. 150,000 of 100, it's a bit too much. It doesn't exist. It's not a lot for an industrial plant, but it's because we were able to hear it even like that, so you don't go until the full breakdown. Because I want to be realistic. Often, if you are using the pump or here the vacuum pump until the end, it will not really explode. Okay, usually you hear it before, it's really hot and so on, but it still costs really more because you have to work in emergency, and the emergency costs a lot. Okay, we could go, if it explodes, it's more or less 1 million because of impact on production and so on. I want to be realistic and to not sell you that we saved 1 million euro in a sugar factory. It's not real. These are real figures. I talked a lot about the solution and the hardware. I don't know where is the sensors, but perfect. There is of course software behind, and that's where we could go one step further also with Proximus, is that it's really important because we are bringing back some data from factory. It's really important also to be very careful with the security, everything linked to machine learning and so on. We are also working close with Proximus to develop this aspect on both sides. Okay, it's really important. I hope that you understand that it's not a prototype, it's not the future, I mean in 10 years, what I show you, it already exists, and it will change again in the near future, but really for me it's extremely important to insist on the fact that it's accessible to everyone. I installed also personally 4 of these sensors in a farm. Okay, they have water, they need to have a pump to irrigate the landscape. Of course, the pump could not have any shutdown because they just have one pump. Okay, it's possible to have just I will say a kind of scale up of the pump, just to have 4 sensors, the gateway there. They could send it directly to us, or they make the analysis by themselves. But it's sometimes hard to understand that we were able to create sensors which could work for any industry, but also any size of industry. And it was really important for us to be able to propose an accessible solution. Okay. So of course, we work a lot on the cost optimization with a strong return on investment. We want to stay at the edge of the technology. That's really why we are doing partnership for now more than 15 years, I think, something like that. We have a project with subsidies from Europe and from Belgium and Walloon region. So it's really important to work with strong partnership. Also with university, we were talking about A6K, for example. And also to extend the asset life. Just to give you an idea, the sensor itself, because what we propose to the customer, we need to apply it for us. The sensor itself has a lifetime of 5 years. As I said, the sensor was delivered, the first one in 2013. So even if it's not the latest version, we know for the former version that it already lasts at least 5 years. And after it's possible, it's just a standard battery. Just to open it, you replace the battery, you close it, and it's back on track. For the customer, that's of course the goal too, is to propose more availability of the production line just by increasing also the asset lifetime. And also it's really important to understand that there is a big impact on environment. We talk a lot for the moment about circular economy. it's really, really deep in it. Just to give you an idea, because we all have a lot of strong audit and so on about everything linked to environment, climate change, and so on. We were able to save almost 3 million of tons of CO2, not in eye care, on customer side. I said we have a production line, it's more an assembly line, so not too much CO2, it's okay. But also to work a lot on energy efficiency and sustainable practices, because as I said, it's really important. It's not just a tool to see if the asset will have a shutdown, it's a tool in a global strategy. Eye care is not a manufacturer of sensor, eye care is a service company. Okay, it's really the global solution which is extremely important. Just a last point before giving it back to Frédéric, just to give you an idea of the plant. This is a real picture of the plant that I personally made me from my own drone, and we had the authorization because I know that you have system to detect it. That's the kind of company where we are working. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Pierre. So we are coming to the end of this first breakout session. So if I need to summarize, I think that we show you the importance of data. Not only data analytic, but using data to do prediction, to do prescription. And it's the perfect example with eye care. Eye care also show you that this kind of system enable you to limit a number of risks. It's not only about financial risk, it's also about quality, sustainability, work environment for the people in the plant. And last but not least, the role of 5G. Here the sensors are connected and the gateway are connected by through the 5G of Proximus next in Belgium. It enables to connect a large number of sensors. It enables to send in real time data from the sensor to the cloud platform of eye care.
Proximus next. Think possible.